A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad. Kama sallaita ala Ibrahima wa ala ali Ibrahima innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad. Kama barakta ala Ibrahima wa ala ali Ibrahima innaka Hamidum Majid. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbana zidna ilma ya muqallibul qulub sabbit qalbi ala dinik. Ameen. Today we'll do Surah Qaf. This is a Makki surah having 45 verses in it, and the para number is 26. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful. Qaf wal Quran al Majid. Verse number 1. Qaf, by the oath of the glorious Quran, you will certainly be resurrected. بل أجبوا أن جاءهم منذر منهم فقال الكافرون هذا شيء أجيب. Yet they are astonished after a warner has come to them from among themselves. So the disbelievers say, this is something strange. أَإِذَا مِتْنَا وَكُنَّا تُرَابًا ذَلِكَ رَجْعٌ بَعِيدٌ. Will we be brought back to life after we have become sand? This resurrection is certainly far-fetched. Verse number 4. قد علمنا ما تنقص الأرض منهم وعندنا كتاب حفيظ. We know what the earth damages of them, and with us is the protected book. بل كذبوا بالحق لما جاءهم فهم في أمر مريج. They falsify the truth when it comes to them and are in a confused state. أفلم ينظروا إلى السماء فوقهم كيف بنيناها وزيناها وما لها من فروج. Have they not looked at the sky above them and see how we have made it beautiful, beautified it, and that it has no cracks? Verse number 7. وَالْأَرْضَ مَدَدْنَاهَا وَأَلْقَيْنَا فِيهَا رَوَاسِيَ وَأَنبَتْنَا فِيهَا مِن كُلِّ زَوْجٍ بَهِيجٍ. And have they not looked at the earth which we have spread out, placed massive mountains on it, and have grown in it every type of magnificent things? Tabsiratum wa zikra likulli abdim munib. These are all eye openers and reminders for every patient slave. ونزلنا من السماء ماء مباركا فأنبتنا به جنات وحب الحصيد. We have sent blessed rains from the sky and have grown with it gardens harvested grain. وَنَخْلَ بَاسِقَةٍ لَهَا طَلْعٌ نَزِيدٌ. And tall date palms with interwoven branches. Verse number 11. رِزْقًا لِلْعِبَادِ وَأَحْيَيْنَا بِهِ بَلْدَةً مَيْتًا كَذَلِكَ الْخُرُوجُ. These are all as a provision for man, and we have revived dead land therewith with the rains, such shall the resurrection be. Surah Qaf contains proof of Tawheed, mention of Qiyamah, its occurrence, description, and the plight of the Kuffar and Mu'mineen. The surah also contains mention of nations that were destroyed in the past. Verse by the oath of the glorious Quran, you people will definitely be resurrected. Here Allah revealed the Quran so that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam may use it to warn the people. However, not stopping falsifying the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the people even falsified the Quran itself. They behaved hotly and pretended to be astonished at the fact that Allah had sent a Nabi from among their own people. In addition to this, they also said, will we be brought back to life after we have become sand? This resurrection is certainly far fetched. In reply to their surprise at the resurrection, Allah says, we know what the earth damages of them. Allah has perfect knowledge about the flesh, limbs, and organs of their bodies that the earth will decompose after their deaths. And with us is the protected book. In this book, the Lohi Mahfuz record are kept of every occurrence that has taken place and will take place. Allah knows exactly which portion of every being's body is in which portion of the earth and where it has become food to any animal or any creature. All the scattered portions of every being will be collected together on the day of Qiyamah. Once again, formed into the being. The soul replaced and the body brought back to life. Allah created the creation, gave life to them, and then caused them to die. It is therefore simple for Him to bring them back to life on the day of Qiyamah. Hazrat Abu Huraira radiallahu ta'ala anhu reported that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa wasallam said, when a person is buried, every part of his body disintegrate except a portion of his spine, the ocax. It will be from this bone that the body will be formed again on the day of Qiyamah, narrated by Mishkat, page number 481. They falsified the truth when it comes to them. The mushrikeen were unable to understand resurrection. When Allah sent Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to guide them, and He proved His apostleship to them with various miracles, they still adamantly falsified Him. They were therefore guilty of the multiplied crime of rejecting the truth as well as the messenger of the truth. It is for this reason that they are in a confused state. They were therefore prone to contradicting their own statements. They sometimes claimed that a human being cannot be a Nabi, and sometimes said that a wealthy person should have been a Nabi instead. Sometimes they labeled Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam a poet, sometimes as a magician, and sometimes a madman. Allah dispels their doubts in His creative powers by saying, have they not looked at the sky above them and see how we have made it without any supporting pillars, beautified it with the stars, and that it has no cracks? Allah Ta'ala asked further whether these people have not seen the earth which we have spread out, placed massive mountains on it, and have grown on it every type of magnificent things, plants, trees, vegetation, etc. These are all eye openers and reminders for every patient slave. By pondering over these tremendous creations of Allah, man ought to recognize Allah's greatness. Allah continues to say, we have sent blessed rains from the sky and have grown with it gardens, harvested grains, and tall tree palms with interwoven branches. The branches of the date palm grow symmetrically layer by layer, with the symmetrically layer by layer. With the dates well protected at the top, Allah then states that He has created all of this as a provision for man. In addition to this, we have revived dead land with it, with the rains. Such shall be resurrection be. Just as Allah revives dead land with the rain and causes various type of vegetation to grow, He can also revive dead bodies on the day of Qiyamah. This verse is the uh, culmination of the proof being presented to those who doubt the occurrence of resurrection. They are being told that the manifestation of Allah's creative powers are before them every day, yet they refute His ability to recreate creation. Allah says in Surah Rum, so look at the signs of Allah's mercy and how He revives the earth after its death. Undoubtedly, He gives life to the dead and He has power over all the things. Verse number 50. Now I'll recite four verses 12 till 15. كذبت قبلهم قوم نوح وأصحاب الرأس وثمود. The nation of Nuh alayhi salam, the people of Res and the Thamud falsified before them. وآدم وفرعون وإخوان لوط. So too did the Ad, Fir'aun, and the people of Lut alayhi salam. وأصحاب الأيكة وقوم التبع كل كذب رسول كذب كذب الرسول فحق وعيد. As well as the people of Ak and the nation of Tuba, each one of them falsified their messengers, so many warning came to pass. أفعينا بالخلق الأول بل هم في لبس من خلق جديد. Did we get tired with the first creation? No, yet they are in doubt concerning the new creation. These verses warn people about the folly of previous nation who were contented with their kufr and believe that they will never be taken to task for their disbelief. Evil deeds and falsification of their Anbiya, Nabi alayhi salam, however, they were all eventually destroyed when Allah's punishment overtook them. The above verses mention a few of these unfortunate nations. The detail of these nations are found in other surahs. The people of Ris, the people of the Wal, have been mentioned in Surah Furqan, verse number 38. The people of Aika are mentioned in Surah Shura, verse 176. And the nation of Tuba are mentioned in Surah Dukhan, verse number 37. Allah says about them, each one of them falsified their messengers, so my warning came to pass. They were warned that they stood to face Allah's punishment if they disbelieved, yet they took no heed. Allah then further dispels the doubt they have in the advent of resurrection by asking, did we get tired with the first creation? Allah never experiences fatigue. It is therefore impossible to think that Allah is incapable of resurrecting people on the day of Qiyamah because He became tired when He created them the first time. These people have no grounds to believe that Allah is incapable of resurrecting creation. All they have are baseless doubts upon which they base their arguments. Allah says they are merely in doubt concerning the new creation. These doubts are addressed time and again in the Quran, yet they foolishly cling to them. Next verses are from 16 till 18 till 19. وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ وَنَعْلَمُ مَا تُوَسْوِسُ بِهِ نَفْسُهُ وَنَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ حَبْلِ الْوَرِيدِ. Really, we have created man. We are aware of the whispers that enter his heart, and we are closer to him than his jugular vein. Allahu Akbar. Verse number 17 is يتلقى المتلقيين عن اليمين وعن الشمال قعيد. When the two receivers receive sitting on his right and left hand side. ما يلفظ من قول إلا لديه رقيب عتيد. Whenever a word escape, there is a watcher ready by him. وجاءت سكرة الموت بالحق ذلك ما كنت منه tahid. The pangs of death will arrive with the truth. This is what you used to avoid. Allah begins these verses by stating, verily we have created man. We are aware of the worships that enter his heart, and we are closer to him than his jugular vein. This means that Allah is aware of every condition that man experiences, even though it be the deepest secrets of the heart. Allah then speaks of the angels that He has appointed to record every person's deed, despite the fact that Allah has perfect knowledge of every deed that every person carries out. He has appointed an angel on the right of every person and another on the left who meticulously record every deed what that a person carries out. It is with reference to these two angels that Allah says when the two receivers receive sitting on his right and left hand sides. Allah says in Surah Infitar, honorable remembering scribes have been appointed over you who knows what you do. The register of deeds that these angels record will be presented on the day of Qiyamah. Allah says in Surah Jasiyah, this is our book which speaks against you with the truth. Really we used to have everything you did record. Verse number 29. Allah states further, whenever a word escapes, there is a watcher ready for him. When a person utters a good word, the angel on his right side record it. And when he utters a word of evil, the angel on his left side records it. Besides his words, every deed is recorded in this manner. Hazrat Abdullah bin Abbas anhu, and other have stated that these angels record only those good and evil deeds that are deserving of record and punishment. They do not record permissible deeds that warrant neither rewards nor punishment. However, it has also been reported that Hazrat Abdullah bin Abbas anhu, that these angels record every deed that a person carries out, including the deeds that are not deserving of reward or punishment. They then present these deeds to Allah every Thursday, and only the deeds deserving reward or punishment are left in the registers. All other deeds are erased. After stating this, Hazrat Abdullah bin Abbas recited the following verse of Surah Rad. Allah effaces what He wills. Verse number is 39. The general inference of the verse is that the deeds of the kuffar are also recorded. After stating the above, the author of Ruhul Mani quotes from Sharai Jawahir that the deeds of children are recorded and that no recording angels are appointed for insane people. Are recording angels appointed for the jinn? Although certain ulama have mentioned that angels are appointed for them, there is no conclusive narration to substantiate this, narrated by Ruhul Mani, volume 26, page 180. Allah Ta'ala states further, the pangs of death will arrive with the truth. When death will approach sinful people who dreaded its arrival, it will be said to them, this is what you used to avoid, while they always try to avoid death in every way and could not bear to even think of it, it arrived at its appointed hour to claim their souls. None can hope to escape death and the stage of the grave and the akhirah hereafter that follows. Some of these stages will now be mentioned in the forthcoming verses. Now I'll recite from verse number 20 till verse number 29. وَنُفِخَ فِي الصُّورِ ذَلِكَ يَوْمُ الْوَعِيدِ. The trumpet will be sounded. This is the day you were warned about. وَجَاءَتْ كُلُّ نَفْسٍ مَّعَهَا سَائِقٌ وَشَهِيدٌ. Every soul shall come with a driver and a witness. لقد كنت في غفلة من هذا فكشفنا عنك غطاءك فبصرك اليوم حديد. You were certainly negligent about this. We have removed your veils from you, and your vision is every sharp today. وَقَالَ كَرِينَهُ هَذَا مَا لَدَيَّ أَتِيدٌ. His companion shall say, this is what I have ready. Okay, verse number 24. Alkiya fi jahannama kulla kaffarin anid. Throw every obstinate disbeliever into Jahannam. Mana in lil khairi, Mu'tadin Marib, everyone who presented good, who was rebellious, and who created doubts. للذي جعل مع الله إلها آخر وألقياه في العذاب الشديد, who ascribed another deity with Allah, so fling him into a severe punishment. قال قرينه ربنا ما أطغيته ولكن كان في ضلال بعيد. His companion will say, O our Rabb, I did not mislead him, but he was in distant deviation. قال لا تقتسموا لدي وقد قدمت عليكم بالوعيد. Verse number 28, Allah shall say, do not argue before me when I have already sent a warning to you. ما يبدل القول لدي وما أنا بظلال للعبيد. The decree that proceed from me shall never be altered, and I do not oppress my slaves. Describing the scene on the day of Qiyamah, Allah says, the trumpet will be sounded. This is the day you were aware of. Every soul shall come with a driver and a witness. Ruhul Mani quotes from Hazrat Usman Raziallah Ta'ala anhu that the driver refers to the angel who will bring the person forth, and the witness refer to the angels who will testify about the person's deed. A hadith from a Hilayatul Hilyatul Awwaleen states that one of the two recording angels will be the driver while the other will be the witness. According to the Hazrat Abdullah bin Abbas Raziallah Ta'ala anhu, the kuffar will then be told, you are certainly negligent about this. We have removed your veils from you and your vision is ever sharp today. In this world, their hearts are veiled from realizing the truth. When they are invited towards Iman and warned against the terrible consequences of kufr and shirk, they fail to take heed and turn a blind eye. However, these veils will be removed on the day of Qiyamah and they will be able to see the truth very clearly. His companion shall say, this is what I have ready. Who is this companion? Hazrat Hassan Basri Rahimullah states that the companion will be the angel who recorded a person's evil deeds. He will point to the register of evil deeds saying that he has it ready for scrutiny. Hazrat Mujahid salam states that the companion refers to the shaitan that is appointed in to accompany every person. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam once informed the Sahaba radhiyallahu ta'ala anhum that every person has a shaitan and an angel appointed to accompany him at all time. When the Sahaba radhiyallahu ta'ala anhum asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam whether he also had these two companions, he replied, yes, but Allah assisted me against the shaitan and he became a Muslim. He now advises me only to do good. Allah Akbar. This hadith is supported by the following verse of Surah Hamim Sajda. We have delegated companions for them who beautify for them whatever is before them and behind them. Verse number 25. Allah will then instruct the angels throw every obstinate disbeliever into Jahannam, everyone who prevented good, who was rebellious and who created doubts. While many commentators state that those who prevented good refers to the kuffar who prevented people from accepting Islam. Others are of the opinion that it refers to people who did not pay zakat. These people used to create doubts in the hearts of others concerning Allah's being, the deen of Islam, and the advent of Qiyamah. In addition to this, they are mushrikeen, who ascribed another deity with Allah. As a result of their sinful behavior, Allah will reiterate the command, so fling him into a severe punishment. When the kafir is flung into Jahannam, his companion who made evil attractive for him and who was responsible for misleading him will say, O our Rab, I did not forcefully mislead him, but he was in distant deviation. The companion will argue that the person fell prey to his guiles because he was inherently inclined towards evil. If this were not so, he would not have been affected. The companion was merely an aid to him and did not force him to resort to kufr. It is obvious that the companion is also a kafir who is destined for Jahannam, since inoculating himself from blame will not save him from Jahannam. Why will he make the plea? O our Rabb, I did not mislead him, but he was a distant deviation. In reply to this question, some ulama have mentioned that the kafir will say this because he will not want to suffer the consequences of another person's evil deeds in addition of those of his own evil. However, his plea will be to no avail and he will have to suffer the consequences of misleading others as well. Allah shall say to him, do not argue before me when I have already sent a warning to you. When Hazrat Adam salam was created, Allah had already warned Iblis and all of mankind by saying, whoever of them will follow you, I shall certainly fill Jahannam with the lot of you. Surah Araf, verse number is 18. Allah will add, these decree that proceeds from me shall never be altered, and I do not oppress my slaves. Therefore, in accordance with Allah's decree, the kuffar will be cast into Jahannam. Note has been written here when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam received the gift of fifth salah on the night of Miraj and then had it reduced to 50 salah, reduced to 5 salah on the direction of Hazrat Musa alayhi salam. Allah said, although the salah will be 5, the rewards earned shall remain 50, because every good deed earns a tenfold reward. The decree that proceed from me shall never be altered. Narrated by Mashkat, page 529. Now I'll recite from verse number 30 till 35. يوم نقول لجهنم هل امتلأت وتقول هل من مزيد. On that day we shall ask Jahannam, are you full? And she will reply, are there any more? وأزلفت الجنة للمتقين غير بعيد. And Jannah will be brought close to those who feared Allah and will not be far off. هذا ما توعدون لكل أواب حفيظ. This is what you have been promised for every penitent had conscientious person. Man khashiya Rahman, verse number 33. Yes. Man khashiya Rahmana bil ghaibi wa ja'a bi kalbin munib. The one who feared Allah without seeing Him and has arrived with a heart that is attached to Him. Nidkhuluha bisalam. Dhalika yawmul khulud. Enter Jannah in peace. This is a day of eternity. Lahum ma yasha'una fiha wa ladayna mazid. They shall have whatever they desire there, and we even have something extra for them. The The dimensions of Jahannam are so vast that even after millions of men and jinn are cast into it, it would still appear to be empty. Therefore, when Allah will ask here, are you full? It will reply in eager anticipation of more. Are there any more? Hazrat Abu Huraira Raziallahu ta'ala anhu narrates that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said that Jannah and Jahannam once engaged in a discussion when Jahannam proudly said, all the proud and Restorative people will occupy me. Hearing this, Jannah said, why is it that the weak, downtrodden, and simple people uh, Allah Akbar, will people will and simple people will occupy me? Allah addressed Jannah saying, you are my mercy and I shall use you. And I shall use you to show mercy to whoever I please. Then addressing Jahannam, Allah said, you are my punishment. And I shall use you to punish whoever I please. Both of you have my promise that I shall fill you both. Narrated by Mishkat, page number 505 from Bukhari and Muslim. Hazrat Ans Raziallahu Ta'ala anhu reports that Jahannam will continue repeating, are there any more? As her inhabitants keep pouring it. Eventually, Allah will place His foot on Jahannam, causing it to recoil and plead, enough, enough. I beg you, by your honor and munificence, Jannah will also have space left as it is being filled. To fill Jannah, Allah will create a new creation to occupy it. Allahu Akbar. Mention of Allah's foot in this narration is being the mutashabihat, and one should bear in mind that Allah cannot be compared to the creation. Allah knows best the meaning of such narrations, and we should not bother to unreveal their meanings. In response to the above narration, it was once mentioned to a saint that the new creation to fill Jahannam will be extremely fortunate to enter Jannah. Immediately after being created, the saint replied, what enjoyment can they experience when they have not experienced the hardships and difficulties of the world? How will they appreciate the comforts of Jannah? It will be we who will really experience enjoyment. We will be able to appreciate the comforts of Jannah that will be much greater than the comforts of this world, because we know difficulties and have experienced them. Allah says, and Jannah will be brought close to those who feared Allah and will not be far off. They will then be entered into Jannah, and seeing the bounty stored for them there, they will be told, this is what you have been promised for every patience and conscious person. Jannah is the promised abode for those people who conscientiously obey Allah's commands and avoid sin. Describing the people of Jannah, further Allah says, the one who feared Allah without seeing Him and has arrived in the Akhirah hereafter with a heart that is attached to Allah. The primary concern of such a person is to please only Allah. It will then be said to them, enter Jannah in peace. This is a day of eternity. That is, this is a day when a decision is passed that will affect their eternal existence. They will therefore be able to live eternally in Jannah. They shall have whatever they desire there, and we even have something extra for them. Besides having whatever they desire in Jannah, they will also receive things for beyond the limits of their imagination. Allama Qurtubi Rahimullah quotes from Hazrat Jabir Raziallahu Ta'ala anhu that something extra refers to seeing Allah Himself. Allah Allah. Imam Muslim Rahmullah reports from Hazrat Shoaib Raziallah Ta'ala anhu, a hadith which states that Allah will ask the people of Jannah whether they require anything else in Jannah. They will reply by saying, "You have eliminated our faces, entered us into Jannah, and saved us from Jahannam. What else could we want?" Allah shall then remove the veil concealing him, and they will be able to see him directly. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. There will be nothing so beloved to them as this. After mentioning this hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam recited the following verse of Surah Yunus, verse number 26. For those who do righteous deeds shall be the best and more. Narrated by Mishkat, page 5. Hazrat Abu Huraira Raziallah Ta'ala narrates from Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that Allah says, I have prepared for my righteous boatsmen in Jannah such bounties that no eye has ever seen, that no ear has ever heard about, and that has never crossed the mind of an human. Therefore, thereafter, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, if you please, you may recite the verse, no soul knows what pleasure are hidden for him as a reward for the deeds he carries out. Verse number is 17, Surah Sajda, and the number of the surah is 32 in the Quran. Now I'll recite from verse number 36 till 40. وَكَمْ أَهْلَكْنَا قَبْلَهُمْ مِنْ قَرْنٍ وَهُمْ أَشَدُّ مِنْهُمْ بَطْشًا فَنَكَّبُوا فِي الْبِلَادِ هَلْ مِن مَّحِيصٍ. How many were the nations that we destroyed before them who were mightier than them? So they journeyed through the cities, calling with concern, is there any escape? إن في ذلك لذكر لمن كان له قلب أو ألقى السمع وهو شهيد. There is certainly a reminder in this for him who has a heart or who listens attentively. وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا فِي سِتَّةِ أَيَّامٍ وَمَا مَسَّنَا فِي مِنَ الْغُوبِ. We have created the heavens, the earth, and whatever is between the two in 6 days without fatigue, even remotely touching us. فاصبر على ما يقولون وسبح بحمد ربك قبل طلوع الشمس وقبل الغروب. Patiently bear whatever they say and glorify the praises of your Rabb before sunrise and before sunset. وَمِنَ اللَّيْلِ فَسَبِّهُ وَأَدْبَارَ السُّجُودِ. Glorify him during a portion of the night as well and after prostration. Allah speaks of past nations that were destroyed when He says, how many were the nations that we destroyed before them who were mightier than them? Many of the previous nations were much more powerful than the Quraysh of Makkah. Among these powerful nations that were destroyed was the Ad. Describing their phenomenal strength, Allah quotes Hazahud alayhi salam, who said to the Ad, and when you seize control, you seize like giants. Verse number 130. Surah Shura. Addressing Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Surah Muhammad, Allah says, many were the towns that were more powerful than your town which you drove out. We destroyed them, and they had none to assist them. Verse number 13. Allah continues, so they journeyed through the cities desperately calling out, is there any escape? When the time drew close for their punishment, their strength and their resources were useless to them, and they searched for safety. However, there was no escape, and they were eventually destroyed. The author of Ruhul Mani quotes some commentators who say that the verse, so they journeyed through the cities, is there any escape, refer to the people of Makkah. This means that the Makkans frequently journeyed through the ruins that were once powerful civilization. Allah asked them whether after passing these ruins, so often they ever noticed a means of escape from His punishment, which they could use. The punishment afflicts them. Since it is obvious that there is no escape, why are they still adamant to practice kufr? Allah continues to say, there is certainly a reminder in this for him who has a heart and who listens attentively. That is, for a person whose ears and heart are attentive and willing. Those people whose hearts are not willing to accept any advice and who are inattentive cannot benefit from the advice given to them. We have created the heavens, the earth, and whatever is between the two in 6 days without fatigue, even remotely touching us. A weak person will get exhausted after doing some work. Since Allah is most mighty and powerful, it is impossible for him to experience fatigue. This verse refutes the foolish statements of the Jews who said that Allah began creating the universe on a Saturday, completed it on a Friday, and then rested on Saturday. Allah forbid. Patiently bear whatever they say and glorify the praises of your Rabb before sunrise and before sunset. Commentators mention that this verse refers to the Fajr Salah and the Asr Salah, both of which have specially significance. Hazrat Umar bin Rabia Raziallah Ta'ala anhu reports that Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, the person who performs Salah before sunrise and before sunset shall never enter Jahannam, narrated by Mashkat, page 62. Glorify him during a portion of the night, that is the Tahajjud Salah, as well as after prostration. After some commentators have mentioned that after prostration refers to performing Nafal Salah after Farz Salah. Others states that it refers to engaging in tasbihat after Salah. The author of Ruhul Mani quotes from Hazrat Abdullah bin Abbas ta'ala anhu that before sunrise refer to the Fajr Salah, before sunset refers to Zuhr and Asr Salah. A portion of the night refers to Maghrib and Isha, while after prostration refers to Nafal Salah. Now I'll recite from verse number 41 till 45. وَاسْتَمِعْ يَوْمَ يُنَادِ الْمُنَادِ مِن مَكَانٍ قَرِيبٍ. Listen attentively, the day when the caller shall call from a near place. يَوْمَ يَسْمَعُونَ صَيْحَةٍ بِالْحَقِّ ذَلِكَ يَوْمُ الْخُرُوجِ. The day when people shall hear the scratch in truth. This is the day of resurrection. إِنَّا نَحْنُ نُحْيِي وَنُمِيتُ وَإِلَيْنَا الْمَصِيرُ. Indeed, it is only we who give life and death, and to us shall be the return. Verse number 44, يَوْمَ تَشَّقَّقُ الْأَرْضُ عَنْهُمْ سِرَاءً ذَلِكَ حَشْرٌ عَلَيْنَا يَسِيرٌ. The day when the earth shall cleave open from above them, above their graves, and they will be reuniting. This shall be a gathering very easy for us. نحن أعلم بما يقولون وما أنت عليهم بجبار فذكر بالقرآن من يخاف وعيد. The last verse of the surah number is 45. We know best what they say, and you are not one to force them. Warn by means of this Quran him who fears my heart. Allah Ta'ala introduces his description of the event of Qiyamah by telling the reader, listen attentively. The reader is therefore advised to pay attention to the ensuing verses and take heed. Allah continues to say, the day when the caller shall call from a near place. The caller refers to the angel Hazrat Israfil, who will who will blow the trumpet to announce the advent of Qiyamah. The second of the trumpet shall be heard by all near and far. It will seem to all that it is being blown from nearby place. It will be heard simultaneously by all the living and dead in the heavens and on earth. People who lived in the past could not understand how a distant sound could appear to be nearby and heard simultaneously throughout the world. With today's technological advancement, however, this is no longer far-fetched. For example, a person speaking on the telephone may be far away but sounds as if he or she is no more than a meter away. The day when people shall hear the screech in truth, this is the day of resurrection. This refers to the second blowing of the trumpet, which is sure to take place. When the trumpet is blown for the second time, creation will be resurrected. Unlike the sound of this world that reaches some people without reaching others, every soul will hear the sound of the trumpet. Indeed, it is only we who give life and death, and to us shall be the return. Every person will have to return to Allah, and none can hope to escape. The day when the earth shall cleave open from above them as they lie in their graves, and they will be running. This shall be a gathering very easy for us. Allah concludes the surah by saying, we know best what they say, and you are not one to force them to believe. Warn by means of this surah, Quran, warn by means of this Quran, him who fears my treat. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's duty was to convey the message to every irrespective of whether they listened or not. Of course, more effort should be concentrated on those who show an interest and who are prepared to accept the truth. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم اغفر للمسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته